Hello guys and welcome to this episode. We all have seen the Fast and the Furious cars, the Dodge Charger of Dom or the latest Ice Charger and Letty's Corvette. But the unloved Fast and the Furious car that everybody seems to forget is Dominic Corvetto. Mighty Car Mods Fast and the Furious car that they built in less than 24 hours. Yes, it was a rush job. And on my part, I can't fit a wide body kit on it on Forza Motorsport 7, but I wanted to see if it can keep up with the real life movie cars, and luckily for me, they are on Forza Motorsport 7. So, what we are going to do to the C4 here is strip down the interior, sort of, stage 2, and do the exhaust. And this isn't the exact same C4 that they used. This is a ZR1. It is one of the best Corvettes in my opinion. It's one of the most modern engined Corvettes still this day, because underneath the bonnet is a 5.7 liter double overhead cam V8. Unheard of on American standards. The Brits helped develop the engine, and by I mean helping, I mean they did everything themselves. It was, I believe, Lotus that helped with the double overhead cam design. And so after the exhaust, we are looking at 313 kilowatts or 420 horsepower. But first, let us see how all the other Fast and Furious movie cars do around the track. What sort of time they can put up at Lime Rock Circuit. I had 5 laps with each car to set up a benchmark time. First on the list, we have the Subaru BRZ, a A682 class car. In my honest opinion, driving the 5 laps around Lime Rock, it is a well-balanced car. Quite easy to handle, but it can be a little bit on the oversteery side, as you can clearly see right there. The brakes are excellent, especially when coming towards the chicanes. I had no problem whatsoever scrubbing off the speed. And with the help of the Rocket Bunny kit, it ran extra large tires all round, so it had great turning, great grip, but it can be unsettled by the curbs for some or other reason. Don't know if it's the car's fault or is the game that's a little bit glitchy, but anyway, this car was nice to drive, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to put up a good lap time. It's quite a nice car. Next up, we have the Plymouth GTX Fast and Furious car. No. This car is totally insane. This is a sort of car that can make you regret driving it. There's too much power, too little grip, too sloppy suspension, uncontrollable in third gear, and terrible brakes. This is the sort of thing that can get you killed in real life. This car has more power at quarter throttle opening than most cars have at full throttle. I believe this car has over 2000 horsepower if I can remember correctly, but no, if you're trying to put up a lap time, this is not the sort of car to go to. This thing is just utterly insane. I would not recommend it. One of the biggest problems of this car is that I had to constantly shift from second to fourth just so that it can grip up, and it's still wheel spin in fourth. This thing is utterly crazy. Next off, we have the Mercedes AMG GTS. I believe it's actually just a production car that has 2 racing stripes on it. It is a A649 class car. It was a dream to drive. Well balanced. Useful power right through the rev range. Just the right amount of grip. And it sounds amazing. And the brakes are fantastic. I was so delighted driving this car after that Plymouth. My goodness, that thing was awful. But this really, if you want to drive fast and you want to drive fast easily, this is the sort of car you take. I had no problem whatsoever using the full width of the track constantly, because I knew exactly what this car was going to do and when it's going to do it. I even later on slide it about a little bit, and it was easy to control, even with the Thrustmaster T500 RS wheel. Next up we have the Rally Fighter. It is in the B class at 502 points. And oh my, is it a roly-poly beast. It has really slow reactions to every input I gave it. So, if you want to learn how to do weight transition drifting, this is the perfect car for you. It has lots of grip with the big all-terrain tires, and lovely power delivery and lovely gearing to go with it. The brakes, I think it's acceptable for something that's riding so high. And if you're the sort of guy that likes to wear stilts all the time to work, to the shopping center, then this is the car for you, because you're sitting so damn high constantly. Yeah, this is a strange car. The center of gravity really didn't help it in the corners. It doesn't like going around corners. This thing is at home in the dunes or off-roading. The next contender is the Jaguar FType R in A class with 641 points. I would really prefer this car to have a little bit more front end grip. This thing likes to understeer into the corners. The brakes are not that good. I would expect a little bit more from Jag at this point. Really, that it's not acceptable for a sports coupe. What's also very good is the power delivery. That 5-liter supercharged V8 has a constant gain right through the rev range. It's a pleasure to drive, and the chassis is as well balanced as the Merc. The only thing that is hindering it from beating the Merc, in my opinion, is the front end grip. But it sounds good. The engine is nice. It's just that front tires that's not up to spec. The next contender is the Dodge Demon. This thing was at home on the track like a goldfish is at home in a boxing ring. Not that good. Almost no turn-in. The brakes are useless. Straight line speed is amazing. But the biggest problem was it came standard with drag radial tires, which you know is good in a straight line but not so good around corners. And for a car that has been used to drive away from police and bad guys, you would want something that can go around corners. And I thought the Plymouth was bad. This thing can maybe beat it for being the worst car I've driven so far from the Fast and Furious franchise cars. With normal production tires or normal road going tires, I think it would be better, but I can clearly see why most people will call this car a boat. Next up we have Letty's 1966 Chevrolet Corvette. It is in B. No, it's in it is in B class with 552 points. For a high riding car compared to the other cars, this car is like it's wearing stilts. It handles significantly well. It really lets me think of the Lotus Elan in that aspect. It starts four-wheel drifting, and I believe it's due to the lightness as well, and that is the next topic I want to talk about. It feels very light, and it lacks power because it has enough grip. This thing has so much grip. It has amazing turning. For a 1966 car, this thing has amazing turn-in abilities, and it's a joy to drive fast. I would really recommend anybody to drive this car and drive it quickly because it's easy, and sometimes you can get the tail loose a little bit, and that's also fun. The next car is actually a sorry sight to see because Subaru has decided to stop production of the WRX STi indefinitely. Really, it's in the news. This one is in A class with 699 points, and it has the typical safe and steady Subaru understeer. It's bloody quick out of the turns. I believe it's due to the fact that it is all-wheel drive. It has amazing fast corner grip, not so good in the lower speed corners. There it suffers a little bit more with understeer, and the brakes are average towards good. It's in between those fine lines. It's not the best, it's not as good as the BRZ. This thing is a little bit slower than the BRZ, if I can be honest. The next car is Dom's Ice Charger. It is in A class with 681 points. For a four-wheel drive muscle car, this thing turns in pretty good. In real life, it wouldn't be that good. They said on the Mighty Car Mods video that the front and rear diff ratios actually differ from one another, that it binds up when it's on a hard surface, like a tarmac road. It could be faster. This car is a stupid gearbox, really. It was constantly first, into second, back to first, then into second and on a straight. And on the straight was only like for 3 seconds we went into third. It has outstanding grip, but it's four-wheel drive. No rocket science there. But actually it's very boring to drive, really. From all the cars that I've driven, this one really takes the cake of taking the sheer enjoyment out of driving. Next up we have that situation where a mechanic says, screw the engineers, I know exactly what is needed from a car to run situation. It is Dom's Chevrolet Fleetline, what he raced in Cuba. The car has the YOLO syndrome. If you don't know what is the YOLO syndrome, it's you only left once. Burnout stripe on the tar. Handling. What handling? This car sways around like a racing pedigree giraffe. If you get something like that, I don't know. Somebody let me know. Grip is okay. Maybe because all of the power is wasted to the one wheel that's constantly spinning. And I don't know what's Dom's priorities. He had all the expenses of buying a turbo, but no gear to hold him into the car, no safety belt or doors, so that's quite a concern. And the car you all wanted to see, Dominic Corvetto, the last car to go around Lime Rock Circuit. What can I say about this car? It's a tad oversteery, but very good in turning. Really good in turning. Out of all the cars that I have driven, this car and the Subaru felt the closest to a race car. Minus the little bit of soft suspension this car has. The brakes are acceptable. The suspension, a little bit too soft. It likes to slide when you're off the throttle for some or other reason, but as I previously said, the only modifications was to do the exhaust and put sport tires on it and the wing that's on the back. I don't think on this track the wing would have any effect on the car because it wasn't going that fast. So, what will be the time, and will it be competitive against the other Fast and Furious cars? And on to the timetables. In first place we have the Subaru BRZ in a 1 minute 3.839. And in second place we have the Subaru WRX STI in a 1 minute 4.293. And in third we have the Ice Charger in 1 minute 4.451. And in fourth we have Dominic Corvetto from Mighty Car Mods in a 1 minute 4.852. Followed then by the Mercedes AMG GTS in a 1 minute 5.161, the Plymouth GTX in a 1 minute 5.390, the Jaguar FType R in a 1 minute 5.521, the 66 Corvette from Letty in a 1 minute 6.558, the Dodge Demon in a 1 minute 7.403, the Chevrolet Fleetline in a 1 minute 7.870, and last but not least the Rally Fighter in a 1 minute 8.330. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to press on that bell icon to get notified when I upload a new video. And until next time guys, keep it sideways, keep it fun. DriftBuddy out.